Was there ever any resolution to the XRPSEC case? In this video, we'll go over exactly what's going on. What has kept Ripple and the SEC from resigning their positions in this case? A lot of people are wondering if they are really making the decision to advance this, or if something bigger is taking place in the background. In this video, I want to talk about that as well as something incredibly fascinating. Is there a possibility that XRP is a scam? Since the price of XRP started to grow quickly and the fundamentals became clear, many members of the Bitcoin community have been attacking. In this video, I want to talk about how they came to be and if they are accurate or not. Regarding XRP, we have essentially disregarded them. As always, your support is greatly appreciated by this channel. We are grateful to everyone who likes these films and takes the time to subscribe to the channel. These two small things are really very beneficial to me. Additionally, if you know of a trustworthy place to buy XRP, make sure to check out my preferred upload, which is mentioned in the description of the video. That being said, let's get going right now. I hope you all find the stuff entertaining. Let's start this video by talking about something that really interests me. Where are all of these attacks against XRP coming from? In recent days, a number of prominent players in the cryptocurrency space have said that XRP has no use case. XRP is a scam. It's just pointless. No one is going to use it. These different things. But I would like to talk about whether these assertions are genuine at all and, more importantly, why they are being made. First of all, I think it's important to acknowledge that one of the primary reasons for these comments about XRP is simply people's perception of the cryptocurrency as a threat. Bitcoin and XRP are essentially the same thing when you look at the technology as a whole. Essentially, this decentralized cryptographic ledger allows a local digital asset to move around. Each now has its own inherent potential. For instance, mining is a feature of the Bitcoin network that lets you generate Bitcoin by providing electricity. The XRP ledger has features like tokenization and an automated market maker. They're just different forms of the same technology. Whether or not XRP is a hoax is the first question that needs to be addressed. Even though you might try to claim that blockchain technology is worthless, that doesn't indicate that everything is or isn't a scam. In essence, they are the same thing. Some people just prefer one blockchain over another. Consequently, it is important to remember that none of these taxes are ever warranted. And the reason for this is that they are unable to identify any merit. They cannot argue that the XRP ledger is not decentralized because it is. With only one validator, Ripple is unable to give the network nearly enough validation power to affect any kind of consensus. Bitcoin actually has a much worse centralization problem because money eventually buys you more power over the network. Additionally, you might just pay more money to boost your network power. That isn't the case with the XRP blockchain. Furthermore, the XRP ledger carries out other tasks for which Bitcoin was intended to be the most effective, among other things, money transfers, payments, and liquidity. That served as the primary driving force behind the initial development of Bitcoin. Furthermore, XRP performs better than Bitcoin in each of these important categories. Thus, it's important to comprehend one important point. Pay attention to your surroundings. Since there is no reason to discuss the worst thing, the non-threatening thing, and the thing that everyone should dismiss adversely, isn't that right? There are tens of thousands of cryptocurrencies. I rarely talk about many of them. I don't talk about them very often. In reality, a lot of things on the market are scams, dreadfully bad, and have no prospect of success. I don't come on my channel to explain why these things are terrible and why you should always stay away from them, though, because it's sort of a waste of breath. Besides, no one is really watching them. They are completely irrelevant, and they will never try to get user adoption because they do not have the required base. The fascinating thing about XRP is that Bitcoiners are always talking about it. They're practically saying, hey, don't pay attention to this thing, ignore this. It's terrible, you can't do anything with it. Unreliable, blah blah blah. But they can't stop talking about it at the same time, and they can't stop talking about it because they see it as a danger. They understand that only one organization has the ability to surpass Bitcoin and carry out all of its intended purposes, although more successfully. Its transactions happen more quickly. Data tokenization is one of its capabilities. It works pretty well. None of these objectives can be achieved by Bitcoin, at least not anytime soon. Furthermore, XRP already uses the same basic concepts as the Bitcoin network to achieve these goals. Therefore, their only choice is to try to discourage you from searching elsewhere by using these ad hominem, non-factual attacks. But the real reason I wanted to talk about this is because of the impact it's having on Bitcoiners, saying all kinds of crazy things. The fact that so many people are listening to them and thinking, all right, well, you have all these bad things to say about XRP has actually encouraged more people to learn more about the cryptocurrency. But as you say, I've noticed that more people are voicing favorable sentiments about XRP. This is also just a public service announcement. If you see someone spouting these ludicrous assertions about XRP, don't take offended, since the vast majority of people who are new to cryptocurrencies today will not have strong opinions about which cryptocurrency they prefer and why. If they do, you cannot look at anything else, and all other technology is worthless. Take advantage of this opportunity to visit the post and add some positive information about XRP. In the early days, a lot of people developed that seriously faulty way of thinking for whatever reason. New hires won't think that way, though. They will want to know why XRP is so awful when they hear others talking about it. And just help spread factual information that shows that, as it happens, it's not terrible, it's really better than Bitcoin in a lot of ways. In the early days, Bitcoiners were actually paying people to go talk about XRP and basically make things up, as has been shown. I don't know how many people know about this. These early forum posts claimed that XRP paid people up to 5 Bitcoins. Fear is the driving force behind all of this. All of them think that XRP has the power to completely change the future that Bitcoin can bring about. However, they don't think Bitcoin can do that in a free market, which is the problem. They don't think Bitcoin can succeed by itself. They basically think that Bitcoin doesn't have the technology to do that. To put it simply, they think that the only way they can be successful is to destroy all of these other assets, which are in many ways better than Bitcoin. That was the only reason they would assault. They thought there was no chance of success and that none of these other resources had any potential. There would be no reason to mention them, let alone talk about them. Instead, though, they're doing it. As a result, I believe it's a strong indication that they actually believe this will succeed. They do think that many individuals are embracing this. Their emotional outbursts and tantrums over the actual truth are all that we see. Therefore, whenever you see something like that, try not to get too upset about it. When someone seems to be reacting emotionally to a digital asset, take advantage of the fact that they probably have hundreds of thousands of followers who will not just agree with them and say, all right, well, let me go take a look at it now. That you're saying this, that's all I wanted to share. I want to go on to talk a little bit about the Ripple SDC case. Stuart Alderati left a remark on a post by Paul Atkins earlier today. Paul Atkins is the next head of the SEC, basically talking about how successful he is as a leader in the Bitcoin industry. After coming to that conclusion, a lot of people said, why is the Ripple SEC case still going on? What might be keeping this case pending? I can attest that Paul Atkins is a fervent advocate for Ripple, the company, and XRP, which is important to know. He has always been an advocate of Ripple, and he has talked about it in a number of posts and videos from earlier conversations. The question of why this issue hasn't been settled is thus brought up. Why is this instance still going on? And I want to make one thing very obvious.